What's up, everyone? As promised, I was going to show the process of me painting this new Lightyear figure from Mattel. Here's the image I found online. Hey, yeah, Zurg is going to be next. Anyways, here's this guy here. As you can see, he's lacking a ton of paint, and he has all the details in the sculpt, but there's just a ton of paint lacking. The first thing I did was went over with this medium gray and just kind of filled in all these spots. Again, I found this image online that shows a 3D model of each side of this suit, which is super helpful in helping me find exactly which parts need, what colors and what details and whatnot. And there's some of that gray on there, and as you can tell, that already has given it a huge improvement. Looking at that there as a reference, looking super cool already. Just a little bit of paint goes a long way. And let's go ahead and go back into it. And the green is missing on the bottom, along with some other little small sections on him. So I went ahead and got this green, hoping it matches perfectly. Might have to add some white or some black to lighten or darken it, but we'll see. And it actually did end up being a perfect match. So I went ahead and went over all the sections that needed the green, and like most of these figures when doing customs, you have to do more than one coat. So once I get one base coat on here of the green, it takes a while there, just go ahead and get everything covered nicely, and you can cover up your mistakes with the Q-tip if you go out of the line or whatever is kind of what I do. And again, just get a nice base coat on there, let that dry so you can start to apply your second coat. Once you get, you can see the top part there that's about 2 to 3 coats in, and then starting on the toes here. This first coat is pretty see-through, so like I said, the 2 or 3 coats is, it's a must for it to even look halfway decent. Just remember to stay in the lines as much as you can, and again, use a Q-tip if you mess up. Helps out a lot. And there's the green there on his gloves, a little bit on his arms, and then on his gloves, he also is missing the purple. He usually has the purple on his front knuckles there, and then also his fingertips. But as you can see, he has some pretty cool detail in these flight gloves. So I'm going to go ahead and do this whole purple piece and this little piece of like cushion that he has there. And then also, of course, the fingertips and then this front knuckle piece as well. And again, with the purple, there was multiple coats. It took, I think, 3 coats or so on the knuckles and the fingertips as well. It's pretty see-through, especially when you're painting on a figure that's white underneath. So just be patient, take your time, get all of those sections nicely painted, and then by the time one side dries, you can move on to the next one, do the second coat, vice versa. Here you can see the beginning of starting to get that fingertip is 1 coat, and then the other parts, the nice dark parts are 2 or 3. So that is the difference there. Then once you get them all done, here's kind of an idea of what it's starting to look like. I might need another coat actually on this purple, but it's definitely getting there. Again, just a little bit of paint goes a long way. It brings out all of those details that are already there that are just missing. Mattel just kind of cuts corners with paint because of the price point. This is a $12.99 figure after all. Just needs a little TLC with some acrylics. So again, going back in there and looking at all the details that were missing, both purple. The purple on the gloves that I painted isn't really matching this existing purple. So I'm going to go ahead and get the same purple I used for the gloves and go ahead and go over those straps to kind of just give it an all neutral matching look there. Again, use some Q-tips if you mess up, which I start to do after painting after a while and shaking and holding him with one hand. But all is good. As you can see, a couple coats later, that purple now matches. And then, as usual, he has the black and white, or black and yellow stripes on his jetpack, rather. He has this cool little canister thing that should be painted that's not. His elbows, the balls on his elbows and his knees should be black, and they are not. So I still have that to do, as well as some details on the jetpack there. And as you can see, I didn't have yellow, so I went with orange, but I still think that is a cool look, especially for like the movie version. And this silver thing, I'm starting to do this little canister, which is starting to look pretty cool, and it should definitely be painted. So once again, it took 2 to 3 coats because it's a super thin paint, but it's starting to look super cool. Also, the buttons are lacking, detail and all around paint, so I'm going to have to paint each side and make those all look consistent and give them at least, an updated coat just to kind of spruce and brighten them up anyways. and then onto the blue as well. And again, Mattel lacks on paint. They don't even paint the sides of the buttons. So you got to really go and make sure you get the coverage on each, the front or the bottom top of the buttons, to kind of give it an all-around paint. And his hair looks pretty good, right? It's got nice detail and lines in there. But I went ahead and put a black wash on there. Actually, 2 black washes to give it a consistent coverage, but it also to bring out all the detail in the lines. And as you can see there, all of these details are really starting to pop with the black and the gray and the green and the purple, and then the orange and black and silver on the back as well. And you will see many different people's custom buzz painting this guy. I've been seeing all over Instagram and stuff, and you know, it's kind of however you want to do it. Again, I found that picture online that's kind of I used as a source, but I altered it a little bit. So I mean, you just kind of do it however you want. That's the fun in it. And yeah, after a few coats, I used an acrylic clear spray, and make sure you cover all the spots that you painted really good, and it'll keep it from scratching and wearing off as much. Sometimes you have to apply a few coats of that acrylic spray as well, but it's really given this guy some awesome detail in the paint. I'm still thinking about maybe giving him a black wash or so on the suit to bring out some of those lines, or maybe even some battle damage. Because as you can see there, that red paint was kind of leaking and it messed up that green. So maybe some Boba Fett style scratches in his armor, revealing some like silver underneath, would be pretty cool. Here's a shot of that more detailed hair, and this shot is actually, it's still pretty wet, so it looks a lot shinier than it actually does. I will do an updated video when I do a little bit more changes. But as you can see, just that, you know, little bit of paint that I did here and there is bringing out all the super cool details that were already there on this figure. He's looking super cool. I'm really happy with the way he turned out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And as usual, thanks for watching, everybody.